Hello, great to see you here. Thanks for stopping by. So you want to cook without using recipes. You want to improvise more, you want to be more creative, or maybe you want to be able to adapt recipes to your needs and to what you have in the kitchen. So how do you choose your ingredients? How do you know what goes with what? This definitely is one of the most common questions I get in my workshops and my courses. So here are my 5 tips for you to make it easier to decide what goes with what and how to pair your ingredients and your flavors. Number 1, trust your taste. As Nigel Slater says about recipe writers, it might be their recipe, but it's your dinner, and you are actually the only expert in your own taste buds. So trust your taste because it's your dinner and only you know what you want to eat, what you like, what you don't like, and only you know what's in your fridge today. Number 2, search your food memories. You already know what you like. I'm really convinced about that. We all have our memories where, we have a memorable meal, something we remember we've eaten that was just absolutely amazing. Could have been something you ate when you were a kid, what your grandmother cooked, something you ate on a holiday or in a restaurant. So try to think back of that taste experience and try to remember what it was that you liked. And actually, you can do the same with experiences that you really did not like. Try to think back and what exactly was it that you liked or that you didn't like. And if you can put your finger on the combinations there, you already know what goes well, what you like, and then you can extrapolate from there. So take an example, say you had a dish in Italy with roast fennel and roast tomatoes. So this already tells you that you like fennel and tomatoes. And you can use this combination in all sorts of different ways. You could add fennel seeds to your tomato sauce. You could add fresh fennel herb to your tomato salad. You could add some shaved fennel on your pizza. So these are all ways you can use combinations you already have and improvise on those flavor combinations you already know. Just start think creatively and think out of the box. You already know what you like. Number 3, try something new, because we all need new experience. We all want new experiences. We get bored of the flavors we know of the same old. So when we expand our library of flavors, when we expand our flavor experiences, then we can keep expanding our repertoire and keep trying new things. And you might be surprised what other things you like. Stay open, keep experimenting, and try something new as often as you can. Okay, number 4, use common sense. This is actually something that Samin Nosrat also says. This is one of my favorite quotes ever. It's in her book Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, and she says, cooking is all about using your senses, mostly common sense. And I can only agree. So if you're using common sense to substitute ingredients or add ingredients to whatever you're cooking, just think about, what does an ingredient do? What does it taste like? Or what does it add to the dish? Does it add a taste dimension? Does it add a texture? Does it add bulk? Does it add juice? Just think in common sense terms, what does an ingredient do? And then replace with something similar. So for example, a dish with tomatoes. There is many kinds of tomato. It could be fresh tomato, it could be chopped tomato passata from a tin, it could be tomato paste, it could be sun-dried tomatoes. So all these different kinds of tomato can be used interchangeably to an extent. So if you think about what you're trying to get from your dish, you can decide to use different kinds of tomato or, leave the tomato out altogether. Will it taste different? Yes, of course, every substitution will bring a different flavor to what you're making, but does it matter if it tastes different? It will just be a new iteration of your dish. Same if you're replacing an ingredient that adds some sweetness or some acidity. Just make sure that the replacement ingredient you're using adds the same kind of dimension to your flavor. A bit of sweetness, a bit of acidity. Lime juice, lemon juice, vinegar, pickled onions, all these ingredients will add acidity, a different dimension of acidity, but you still get that bit of acidity in your overall flavor picture, and this is what you need to stick to. Another common substitution, using different greens, say, a recipe that uses spinach or that uses kale or that uses cabbage. All these greens are interchangeable. Yes, they're not the same. And for example, spinach is a lot more delicate than cabbage. So spinach needs less cooking and cabbage needs more cooking. So just think about at which point in your cooking you will add the cabbage so that there is enough time to cook. Again, use common sense and start experimenting with your substitution. It's really not that difficult. Just get started and you'll see what I mean. And finally, number 5, my last tip here, build your flavors. So flavor needs to be a complex picture to be really yummy. And I do talk more about this in my other video about building flavors. So have a look at that. There is a link up there or down there. The main thing is it's all about the layers, and you want some complement and some contrast in your layers. So I had an email recently from someone who said, oh, I've been trying to use my intuition more, but I had an intuition fail yesterday. I thought I'll combine all my favorite ingredients, and they were all really delicious in their own right, but the combination just did not work. So what went wrong there? Why, when I say, use your intuition, why does it not work if you just use all your favorite ingredients? And the problem here, I think, you need to remember to build your flavor picture. You need to build the contrast. So I think in that example, the ingredients were scampi and plantain and sweet potato. So what's the problem with these ingredients? They're all a bit sweetish, I think. So you have sweetish on sweetish on sweetish. That doesn't make for a full picture. That doesn't make for a lot of layers. So you need some contrast in there. There's nothing wrong with the ingredients themselves, but maybe you either need to take one out and replace it with something more contrasting, or maybe you need to add some extra contrast in the form of a sauce or something really punchy or something more acidic. So you always need to think about how you build your flavors. And these are my 5 tips for knowing what goes with what and how to combine flavors when you're cooking without a recipe. And just before I go, big thanks to everybody who has liked my videos or subscribed to the channel. It really helps getting these videos in front of more people when they're looking for this kind of question. So I really appreciate your likes and subscribes. Let's get cooking.